National security to remain a top priority for the Roosevelt-Skerrit administration. Head of Port Authority reports on seamless cargo clearance this Christmas season, and Dominica's economy said to have fared well in spite of the global financial challenges. Hello, I'm Tarnia Green. Welcome to the holiday edition of National Focus.
I'm Jarna Hector. Stay with us as we bring you details of these stories and more when National Focus returns.
You're watching GIS.
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. Parliamentary Representative for the Roseau Valley constituency, Honorable Dr. Colin McIntyre, is assuring his constituents that come 2013, he will continue to look after their needs. The parliamentary representative says employment creation and infrastructural development will continue to be priority for him.
In the Roseau Valley, for example, we are looking at the geothermal project, which shows a lot of promise. The potential is there for sure, and we are going in terms of harnessing and trying to get the energy for our people, and of course, job, creation, employment, which is major for us. We can no longer do things normal. We have to do things different. When I say normal, what we're accustomed to doing. We're looking at new ways of doing business. And that's one for sure. We have seen our roadway development in the Roseau Valley in terms of lifting the Roseau Valley, and even recently continuing on our promises for the people in terms of the roads in Mount Prosper and Shawford, the entire Roseau Valley, and trying to build the Roseau Valley.
The parliament representative is encouraged by government's ongoing efforts to create the enabling environment to make life more comfortable for Dominicans.
We are particularly concerned, and we're trying as much as possible to create the enabling environment for people in terms of investment. As an area, in spite of the global meltdown, we continue to see folks knocking on our doors, coming in, wanting to do things, wanting to invest in Dominica. This is something that continues to be created, and of course through Invest Dominica this has happened. In terms of our small business opportunity, in spite of the struggles and the problems of the globe, we are still able to provide assistance to our small businesses, and of course they are in turn creating a form of employment for our people. Hopefully in the new year we're looking to broaden it and try to do more for our people, looking at doing things differently, as I keep saying, in terms of assisting our young people. And we would like to urge our young persons in Dominica to be entrepreneurs, think out of the box right now, and let's do things differently.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt-Skerrit continues to condemn senseless acts of violence within the Dominican society. Last weekend, Secretary to the Cabinet Steve Farrell was viciously attacked in Roseau, leaving him nursing stab wounds at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Prime Minister Skerrit is appalled by this action and says efforts will continue to curb crime in Dominica.
Well, we condemn, as we continue, to condemn any act of violence, any act of assault on anybody, whether it is a president, whether it is a homeless person, and in that case, the Secretary of the Cabinet, but with the country, when we talk about fighting crime, we have to give the police certain flexibilities in dealing with criminal behavior, and people must understand that if they engage themselves in criminal behavior in the country, that they will be affected. And this is why we continue to go to Parliament to amend laws so that when this kind of crimes occur, then the penalty will be harsh and stiff. We cannot feel sorry for people who believe that they can simply attack people and beat up people and shoot people and kill people. We're not going to stand this.
The Prime Minister has told the nation that his administration will look at amending existing legislation which will encourage a decrease in crime levels.
We'll be looking at additional legislation, existing legislation, with a view to assist in fighting those crimes. Now, obviously, the police cannot be everywhere to prevent the crime, but people must be held responsible for the crimes they perpetuate. We cannot blame somebody else or this so-called system when somebody goes and commits a crime. That person must be held responsible. And I'm saying that you will see increased activities from the police come 2013. And once the police take action, I'm hoping that the people of the country support the police in the actions. Now, obviously, we have to respect people's constitutional rights and all these things. But at the same time, the same people who want the rights respected must respect the rights of others. You can't have to violate somebody's right and then you want yours to be intact. It can't work. If you violate somebody's rights, your rights may be violated. And this is the approach we're going to be taking in 2013.
Prime Minister Skerrit says Dominica is still considered to be one of the safer islands in the Caribbean.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has cautioned riders of motorcycles to take greater responsibility to protect themselves when riding. The Prime Minister's comments came in response to the increasing number of young men who have lost their lives as a result of motorcycle accidents in recent times. Just last Friday, Carlson Corbett, a young man of Checkhall, died following a motorcycle accident which occurred under the Canefield Cliff.
These are personal responsibilities. If, it's unfortunate that we have these accidents all the time, we keep talking about the need to be safe and to use and to use caution and things. But we cannot be driving and riding in the streets in the speeds that we are and not expect to have difficulties. So at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to individual responsibilities. Yes, we can have legislation. Yes, we can have speed limits. But I have to make a personal decision whether I'm going to go beyond the speed limit or not. You understand? And if we don't, the consequences can be severe. But it's really unfortunate that if we continue to have these motorcycle accidents and people left behind to mourn the deaths of these young people.
The Prime Minister is asking the public to be extra vigilant of motorcycles on the road to prevent future tragedies. Meanwhile, traffic authorities here are encouraging motorcyclists to ride safely and defensively, while drivers need to look out for the motorcyclists who are sharing the road.
In other news, head of the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, Benoit Badwell, is encouraged by the seamless manner in which members of the public were dealt with in clearing their goods on the port this Christmas season. Badwell says this was due to the high level of efficiency of the customs and port officers at the Woodbridge Bay port.
We had a plan which we worked along with a meeting with the customs authorities, and this year we executed the plan in such a way that it made it very easy for persons to come to the port and to get their cargo. The only holdback that we had was in relation to late information manifest provided to us. But once that was provided, the persons were able to get their cargo very easily and move out of the port. The customs, I must commend the customs officers for the great amount of work that they did to be able to facilitate the persons. In the past, we had long lines for cash-in and that kind of thing. That was not to be this year. Persons were allowed to be able to go to different areas to cash, so that didn't create any problems. We utilized shed number 4, which is normally the banana shed area, which is about 30,000 square feet, to undertake all the cargo coming from St. Thomas, St. Croix, and we were able to do that and move the cargo. As you can see today, things have died down a little bit because most of the cargo has gone out. We worked on Friday up to about 7 p.m., and that also helped in persons moving the stuff very quickly out of the port.
A few weeks ago, Minister for Ports, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, announced government concessions on imported foodstuffs and clothing items for personal use during the Christmas season. Mr. Badwell is happy to report that more barrels and boxes came in during this Christmas season compared to last year.
Because the notice went out much earlier than last year, lots more persons took advantage of the concessions provided by the government of Dominica. I think persons are very thankful for the opportunity for them to assist their families here in Dominica. And this year we saw a lot more of the barrels and boxes coming in, and the persons were very pleased in terms of what they had to pay. And I believe that concession given will go to the benefit of all the Dominicans, especially those persons who are assisting their families during this time of cheer, where they can help their families to enjoy the Christmas season much better.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, in speaking with GIS's Mervyn Paul last Wednesday, discussed a number of aspects relating to Dominica's development in 2012 and beyond, including the issue of national security. Prime Minister Skerritt stated that the onus to minimize crime in Dominica lies with each citizen.
Crime is a societal problem, and oftentimes people blame the police or they blame the government for crime. Each one of us must take responsibility for the peace and tranquility and well-being of our citizens. It can't be left to the police, because the police cannot be everywhere. If a brother kills a brother, we can't hold the police responsible. We have to call for greater and better relationship between family members and among family members and among our society. So if each of us take responsibility, then we believe that there can be a reduction in crime. Pointing finger is not going to help.
The Prime Minister nevertheless noted that his government is doing its part. He reported on a few positive national security moves currently made by government.
We have been able to invest tremendously in national security and regional security, whether it is through the recruitment of additional police officers, whether it's providing the police with more vehicles, more assets, for example, boats. We'll give one more McBride as well, 2 by the United States, additional vehicles, increasing in the use of technology. Is an area we're looking at, the construction of police stations and improvement of the police station, because we have to ensure that the police officers have comfortable accommodation so that they can carry their functions in a much efficient manner. We have built the Granby police station in excess of maybe close to $4 million. We have done quite a bit in national security. And of course, the outreach that the government has put out with the Attorney General and ministers have gone out to the communities, engaging the communities. The Chief of Police has been present to speak to them about crime, to hear from them as to what they think are the causes of crime and what the government and the police can do with them towards assisting and reducing crime in our communities.
Honorable Skerritt told the nation to look out for further developments in the national security sector, including a new Calibishi police station, for which the contract has already been signed, as well as a major upgrade to the La Plaine police station. Also planned for 2013 is construction on the Special Services Unit base at Mount Bruce.
The Venezuelan government has offered us also, through our negotiations with them, assistance for the redevelopment of the SSU base at Mount Bruce. So the number of the buildings there, the barracks and so forth, will be redone and brought into 21st century standards so that the police officers can be comfortable.
The Prime Minister stated definitively that Dominica's crime rate is still much lower than most Caribbean countries.
We don't always like comparing ourselves with others in terms of statistics, but when you look at the region, there's no doubt there's a lower rate of crime and criminal activity in Dominica than most. You may see a lot of cases coming before the magistrate courts because our police here in Dominica is less tolerant to any form of disorderly conduct, any infraction of the law. Whereas in other countries, the police may allow people to get away with certain actions. So a man will steal a bottle of rum, red cap. He'll be arrested by the police. In another country, they may tell you, well, pay the guy back and that's it. You understand? So you see a number of those things going before the court because the police have a zero tolerance when it comes to crime and violence in Dominica.
On the topic of the security of Dominican passports, the country's leader is confident about the security detail associated with the passports. Prime Minister Skerritt says he is supported in that view by the government of Britain.
We believe the passport is among the most secured in the world. And you know that the British had a review to look at the continuation of the visa waiver program with them. And they themselves came into the independent assessments of our visa issuance process. I gave them copies of all forms of the passports, the diplomatic passport, the ordinary passports, the service passports, so they could see the features, they could look at the security features. They came into the immigration department independently and look at the whole process, look at the law, look at the policy in respect to the issuance of the passport. And they were satisfied, based on what they've said in writing to me, with the authenticity and the security measures that have been put in place to secure passports.
New security measures are also being implemented to safeguard the Dominican birth certificate.
Also, during that end-of-year interview, Prime Minister Skerrit commented on Dominica's overall economic performance in 2012 during the financial recession. The nation's leader believes Dominica has done well during this time of financial hardship, and he listed a number of determinants of that result.
God has been good to us, and we don't thank him for that, because without his support, notwithstanding our best efforts, we wouldn't get there. And also, the prudent and responsible manner in which the government has been managing the affairs of the state. That's what we've been saying to our people, that sometimes you make requests to the government, that if the government were to respond to you, it would cause untold damage to our opportunities. And therefore, while I understand sometimes the private sector and others may make particular cases on their behalf, but as Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, I have to look at the totality of the situation in the country. I cannot just look at one sector or one industry. I have to look at, if I'm going to give a concession of $5 million, I have to know how it's going to affect the wider economy, the wider fiscal situation. And so I understand in some cases people's requests are genuine and so forth. But they also have to look at my response as being genuine too, you see. Because we've helped. We have to be responsive, but at the same time we have to be responsible. We cannot cause ourselves by responding to be irresponsible, because we do not have the kind of fiscal space to mess around, so to speak, with our situation. We have to remain committed and firm in regards to the fiscal policies. So, God's help, strong management of the economy, promoting transparency and accountability and good governance practices. People question these things, but these things are before the people's eyes in terms of how the government has been able to manage the affairs of the state. And also the kind of respect and admiration which you have from our development partners, our multilateral institutions, the CDB, the IMF, the World Bank, the Bandes in Venezuela, the European Investment Bank, the Agence Française de Développement. All of these people are partnering with us in various spheres of our development, our economy, to assisting us in developing Dominica. And of course, our bilateral partners, many of them, who've been helping in small, medium size, and big ways. And we appreciate all the assistance that they provide to us.
Also contributing to Dominica's economic survival, says Prime Minister Skerrit, is the support of the Dominican people.
With their support and creating political stability in Dominica, ensuring that those who call for anarchy, those who call for mayhem, those who call for destruction and civil disobedience, doesn't happen. So we have been able to have political stability in Dominica and continuity too, and I really want to thank all the Dominican people, both those who support us and those who do not support us, for their support, for their criticism. We don't, contrary to what people think, we don't look down on criticism. What we say is that if you're going to criticize and you say that you have Dominica's best interest at heart, it has to be in a constructive way. It can't be always about trying to destroy the country and the country's image and the country's potential. Because there are people who, once they hear an investor is coming to Dominica, they find all sorts of ways of contacting the investor to give him all kind of reasons why he or she should not invest in Dominica. Now, if you're doing that, you can't love Dominica. You see what I'm saying? Your approach is to destroy the country.
The Prime Minister then shared holiday greetings with all Dominicans.
I wish every Dominican a Merry Christmas and, of course, a Happy New Year. Christmas is a time not for receiving, but for giving. And we should try to reach out to at least one family in our community for this Christmas season. And I'm sure if you reach out, then you'll start receiving. But we should not sit home and expect to receive and not give. And it's a time to extend peace and reconciliation and to renew our commitment to the development of Dominica. and I extend my very best wishes to all families, and I pray that the good Lord will continue to bless them.
And Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit on Monday brought some Christmas cheer to underprivileged children residing in and around the city of Roseau. The Prime Minister warmed their hearts when he presented them each with a toy. This is an annual gesture by the Prime Minister to continuously show that he cares for the less fortunate kids amongst us. In presenting the children with the toys, the Prime Minister wished them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
It's my pleasure seeing you again. I think, Margaret, we've been doing that for how many years now? 9 years, eh?
Almost 9 years.
About 9 years now. And so, you're always very wonderful neighbors. You live next to me, most of you around the financial center. So I wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And you should enjoy yourself for the Christmas, but when January comes and you're back to school, you have to get back into your books. And you have to behave yourself.
The excited children said thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister for his generosity.
On behalf of the children of Bafford, Kennedy Avenue, Cox Street and Pong area, I would like to thank you for the gifts this Christmas.
Government parliamentary representatives from constituencies across the country presented gifts to children of their respective constituencies. Some also hosted Christmas parties to the delight of the children. Now, isn't that just wonderful, Jarna? It's Christmas time and it's a time to share, it's a time to give, but to give those especially who are less fortunate, because some of us, we have a lot, and it's during the Christmas season that we should come out and remember those who are less fortunate and share with them. And I think whatever, you know, the parliamentary representatives are doing is commendable, to go out into their respective communities and share with the less fortunate children.
Also, you're right, Tanya, it is commendable. Also, we tend to think sometimes that we need to have a lot to give, when really there's always somebody with less than us, so we're always able to give. And we should also take our giving to beyond Christmas. And we shouldn't, I mean, because we've heard it before, only Christmas time, oh, Christmas is the time for giving, but all year round is the time for giving.
And it's interesting that, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the winner of this year's DBS Christmas Song Contest, Janny Jackson, yes. She won with the song titled Santa Hang On. And really what that song was trying to portray was that Santa was out there giving gifts to all the children, and there was this one particular little boy who was in a little corner and he was being ignored, you know, and I am sure that he felt terrible. So, you know, what the song sought to portray was that, you know, we should not just give those, we should just not just give everybody, but we should specifically look out for those who really are in need.
I agree.
So that's wonderful.
I agree.
We could talk about Christmas and the goodies all day, but we have to get back to the news.
In more news, the Venezuelan Institute Quattro Group, led by Dominican Tyson Johnson, paid a surprise visit to Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit at his office on Monday. The group was accompanied by Venezuelan Ambassador to Dominica, Her Excellency Carmen Martinez de Griaba. The group specifically came to treat the Prime Minister to some Venezuelan Christmas music with a Dominican flavor. We now present you with a taste of what the Prime Minister was treated to on Monday morning. The Venezuelan ambassador to Dominica also used the occasion to present the Prime Minister with a special Christmas gift.
And that's all the news we have for this special holiday package. Coming up, a few healthy holiday tips. Thanks for staying with us. Here are now a few tips that you should be thinking about during this holiday season. Be realistic. Don't try to lose pounds during the holidays. Instead, try to maintain your current weight. Plan time for exercise. Don't skip meals. Before leaving for a party, eat a light, healthy snack. Survey party buffets before filling your plate. Choose your favorite foods and include vegetables and fruits to keep your plate balanced.
Also, be sure to eat until you're satisfied, not stuffed. Savor your favorite holiday treats while eating small portions. And be careful with beverages. Alcohol can lessen inhibitions and induce overeating. Non-alcoholic beverages can be full of calories and sugar. If you overeat at one meal, go light on the next. It takes 500 calories per day above your normal consumption to gain 1 pound. So it's not absolutely necessary to restrict yourself too much. It's impossible to gain weight from just one piece of cake.
And that's National Focus. We welcome your suggestions and comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Look us up on Facebook and be sure to friend us and like our fan page. Catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube page. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm Tarnia Green. Thank you for watching and have yourselves a happy holiday.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry